What is up, guys? It is Rising Random here, and no, we're not going to talk about the fact I have been a ghost. I have been Casper. I have been Danny Phantom. I'm not really sure how many more ghosts I can name, but we're not going to keep going with it anyway. But I have been kind of, disappearing in and out of YouTube for a while. I know I've just been kind of lazy, but I'm gonna come back. I'm back, and I'm probably gonna be trying to release a video every 2 days or so. But let's just hop into this video. So Deku is a demon, of course, if you couldn't tell by the title, thumbnail, anything about this video. But Deku, of course, is a demon, but he's not a demon slayer type of demon. He's close to 7 deadly sins. And for those who don't, I'm not even gonna explain it. Just watch 7 deadly sins or Demon Slayer. Actually, watch both if you haven't already, just to know what I'm talking about. But let's just keep going past this. But Deku, of course, goes to the quirk doctors with his mother. Same timeline for right now. But he goes to a quirk doctor with his mom, and the doctor says he has a double jointed pinky toe, meaning he has a quirk. And Deku is bouncing up and down, so excited about his quirk. Little did he know a tragedy is just around the corner, and it has everything to do with his quirk, because his quirk is tied to negative emotions such as rage, shame, sorrow, just stuff like that. But it's just a tragedy just around his corner because of that quirk. But let's move on. Deku, is excited and going up and down, asking the doctor, "Oh, is my quirk going to be like All Might's? Because All Might's quirk is so cool." And the doctor, he's like, "I hope it is." Ulterior motives, foreshadowing. I'm just kidding. But the doctor is definitely like, well, ulterior. The doctor is like, "I hope it is." But let's keep moving forward. We're now when Deku goes back to school. He's telling everyone who is around, including teachers, Bakugo, everyone. But he's telling basically everyone he has a quirk. Bakugo, of course, is kind of not believing Deku, and it's like, no, you don't. Believe it. Show me your quirk. Show me your quirk since you have one. But Deku's like, "Oh, I don't know my quirk yet. I just have a double jointed pinky toe." And then Bakugo was just like, "Oh, okay, not true." And he starts to bully. I'm so sorry, I accidentally hit my phone. But he starts to bully Deku, and he makes the whole class join in. Honestly, while being berated, the teacher isn't there yet. The teacher kind of left out the room. This is why this is all happening. But the whole class is kind of just berating Deku about lying about having a quirk. And Deku has a small purplish black dot growing on her forehead. And as our insults keep going, "You're lying. You're useless. You will never be anything in life. You're quirkless." The dot slowly grows until it becomes a dot with not really a dot, but more of a pattern. And a little stripe of it covers down Deku's one eye, and Deku's eyes are purplish black again. And the purplish black, I'm saying purplish black a lot, but a purplish black aura encompasses Deku, and it bursts out the school. It injures Bakugo. Not strictly Bakugo, but it injures a lot of the people around Deku. But Deku is just standing over Bakugo, seemingly intent to kill him. But the teacher returned to the room at that moment. Honestly, the quirk, thing kind of spurred her to come back. And she just saw Deku stand over there and just called out Deku's name. And it returned him back to normal, kind of remembering, "I'm a normal kid," all that. But Inko, Deku's mom, get a call from the local police department about how Deku is, just got into an accident, not really an accident, but an incident of it surrounding this whole entire thing. She has to come down here. She comes down, they fully explain it, that he basically, his quirk got unleashed upon whoever, the classroom inside, and that they really can't do much about it. And that they really couldn't do much about it, but they suggest counseling and going back to a quirk doctor to kind of see the causes of Deku's quirk and to see if Deku can basically control it. And so, of course, she does go to the quirk doctor first. She does arrange counseling for Deku, but she goes to a quirk doctor first, and he runs tests on Deku, just asking him basic questions like, "Oh, how did the quirk feel? what did you feel when the quirk was activated? But Deku says, I just can't remember. I can't remember nothing. So the quirk doctor's like, that's unusual. You know, most of the time people can at least remember what happened. But he's kind of thinking, okay, maybe it's psychological because of what he did was so bad. He doesn't want to remember it. Basically, like repressing memories, you can say. But the court doctor's like, that's extremely weird. But after a while, Deku comes out and just says, hey, look, I felt before my quirk got activated, I felt like a rage just overwhelming me. And right as a rage peaked, I felt a cold, almost like a cold being hugging me. And after that, I just can't remember nothing. It just felt like I went to sleep. And the quirk doctor like, okay, extremely strange. But you know how Tokiyami, I think that's his name, Crow Dude from My Hero Academia. I'm not good with characters' names, obviously. But I think his name's Tokiyami. But Tokiyami has a very similar quirk. Well, not very similar, but Tokiyami has a quirk where it's like two separate beings of his dark shadow crow thing. So the doctor's like thinking, okay, maybe it's that type of thing, and whatever his quirk was just overwhelmed him. Even it's like his own separate entity almost. And it just overwhelmed Deku and stood in Deku's place. They're trying to come up with different like things, but at the end of the day, they couldn't exactly figure out. They gave it the name. They don't really give it a name, but the doctor refers to it as Demon Shadow for right now. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really put much thought into the name, but they just currently referring to it as Demon Shadow, or otherwise the name of Meliodas. That thing is smart, but otherwise the name of Meliodas because of the Arthurian legend, not really because of some of the things, but because of Arthurian legend, he just has it under the code name Meliodas. He just kind of felt like putting it like that day. But Deku goes to, like, has counseling sessions over a couple months. Everyone kind of just stays away from Deku after the incident. So he does have moments where a little purplish black thing, like a purplish black dot, appears on his forehead, but it never grows. Now he's about going right after elementary school, so he's going into middle school, not quite in high school yet. So he's 6th grade. Everyone still stays away from him because of the incident. He's famous because of the incident. He's also called the Walking Catastrophe because, you know, of how powerful the quirk was, even though he hasn't used it since then. It's slowly dying down, but it's not dying down too much, especially among those people who went to his elementary school. So he kind of has like the black dot eyes pretty much at this point all the time because he's constantly feeling lonely and separated from the people of his age. So instead he indulges himself in books and trying to learn how to fight and martial arts and stuff like that, and just learning stuff basically. He's pretty much not quite him in the main series, but he is very smart. He's about the same intellect, but he's more physical. Especially after learning he has a quirk. He's more physical. He learned swordsmanship, which he's actually quite proficient at. I'm just going out that way. Little caveat, if you don't know who Meliodas is, he's honestly a character from Seven Deadly Sins, and he's really good with the blade. That's why I'm putting Deku good with blades. That's just for y'all knowledge for right now, so you don't think it's just coming out of nowhere if you never watched Seven Deadly Sins. But back onto the story. But Deku at this point is like he's experienced with spearsmanship, though he's not that good with it. He tried it a couple times. He's learned karate, he's learned jiu-jitsu, he learned kung fu. He learned a lot of different styles of martial arts, so he's not the highest one he has is in karate, and it's only a brown belt, so he's not great at any of them per se. He just has experience in them. But he's a lot more physical. He's toned. He has a 6-pack, all that. Like he's very muscular at this point because of all this, and he spends a lot of time outside running. And he still comes home, reads books, works on his mind. So it's not like he's like a complete musclehead in this timeline either. But after a while, I say like after like 7th grade, another incident occurs where Bakugo is kind of just unnerved by Deku this day for whatever reason. Deku is just kind of like, he woke up, kind of not in the mood. He's just kind of having that attitude. If you catch, like, if you're feeling, like, he has an attitude, so he just comes to school not really in the mood to deal with nobody. And Bakugo can feel it, but he's like, oh, why do you have attitude? Like, you nearly killed me before. I should be the one having that attitude. Like, he doesn't really understand Deku. But, he lashes out because of it. And Deku's like, why today of all days? Like, I'm not really in the mood, I'm using, like, never mind. But Deku's like, I'm not really in the mood, They're going back and forth. But Bakugo pushes a little too far and mentioning a walking catastrophe, and I don't know how your mother can even love you since you're borderline just a devil, you're just a monster. And pushes Deku too far. The black dot appeared again. Well, not black dot, but the black marking appeared again. And everyone who went to his elementary school very vividly remember this because they are traumatized by this. Like, I don't think, like, never mind. I'm saying never mind a lot, but they are visibly traumatized by that experience. So they immediately recognize it and tells everyone he's going catastrophic again. Everyone ducks down, including the teacher. He doesn't feel like really getting hit by the power, but everything around Deku just explodes in a well of energy, and it pushes everything away from him. And he just sitting there, black energy in hand, almost forming a sword, but this time he's conscious. Even though the sword is like he's holding the sword, he's conscious enough to not attack anybody. He just says simply, call the police. I'm not sure how much longer I can withstand this. Because he almost feels like a voice in his head gnawing at him, telling him, kill them, kill them, kill them. Use your power. It's just a lot of very much whispers in the back of his head. He's like, I'm not sure how much longer I can hold on. Call the police. And of course they do call the police. And the police come down. They kind of not really detain Deku, but you know what I mean? A lot of super people come down and they just kind of make sure Deku's fine. If your power does explode, they have people. They actually have All Might there because at this point Deku kind of is known even in all of Tokyo, in a lot of Tokyo, he's known just because of the fact he's almost a walking catastrophe, as they like to say. So All Might is there, and Deku does kind of lash out. When he sees All Might, he became excited and his mind slipped for a second. He just slashed aimlessly. It didn't hit nobody. It just kind of broke a wall very close to Walmart. All Might. I'm so sorry. Now I'm kind of tired, so words are being mixed up. But he doesn't really do too much damage per se. But I'm going to be actually ending it off here. I hope you guys have a great day. Please like and subscribe as always. Share if you have if you have any friends that like my type of content. But just help me out with my YouTube growth.